Hello, it's Dan Bunker from United Learning Z Tech Team with a quick tutorial on how to use your Crumble kit to make a Pelican crossing simulation. Now I've got my Crumble board and you can see I've got my power going out to a buzzer, and the buzzer passes on the power to a switch, and I've also got a little traffic light to plumb in as well. So we're just going to wire these up like so. So I've got the buzzer, and that's going to, as well as having its power in and out, it's going to be connected to port D on my Crumble board, and my input from my switch is going to be attached to port C. So I've got the power coming in, and the connection to the actual buzzer is on port C. Now on my lights, I've only got enough room on the board for two of the lights, so I'm just going to use the red and the green and not use the amber. And so the red is going to be on port A of my Crumble board, and the green is going to be on port B. And to ground it, or to finish off the power, the negative is connected to the board there. Now the final thing I've got to do is to add the power in, and I've got my positive and negative terminals wired up, and so my negative needs to go into the negative of the board, and then the positive to the positive input on the board. So that's all my wiring done for a Pelican crossing, and what's going to happen is the crossing will be on red in its steady state. When there's an input with the switch, the light will turn to green and flash, and the buzzer will buzz for a few seconds, and then it will go back to being red. So this is a physical computing simulation with selection at its core, and this would work for a Year 5 physical computing project with selection. So now we've wired it up, let's have a look at the programming side. I've got my Crumble software open now, and what I'm going to do is just go through the program to make the Pelican light work. So I've got a few bits on the screen already, and we're going to start off by putting everything in a do forever loop. So I've got my program start and then do this thing forever. And the first thing we want to do is to make sure the traffic light, or the Pelican light, is on red as the default state. So it only changes from red if there is a button press on the button. So what we're going to do is remember that the traffic light red is the A port, so we're going to set the red light as high, and that will be constantly on unless something else happens. Now the unless, or the selection bit, is the if then bit, so we'll pop that in there. So we want to say if then the button is pressed. Now the button's on C, so we're going to say if C is high, if the button is pressed, if C is on, then we're going to do something. And we only want to do it a certain number of times because we want to bed across the road and then set it to red afterwards. So we can say 10 times, we can change this number. I'll change it to 8. Do 8 times a certain thing. Now what I want to do when that button is pressed, just before I set the green button and the buzzer going, I want to turn the red light off. So set A high, I need to set A as low. So set A low as soon as that button is pressed, and then we're going to do the loop 8 times. And we want to have a look at this. Set B high and set D high. So that's set the green light and set the buzzer going. Okay, so to notice those and for them to flash, we need to wait a very short space of time. I've put in 0.2, and then we need to set them both low. So we want to turn them off and then wait a fraction before turning them back on again. So for 8 times we're going to see the green light come on, the buzzer buzz, and then it turn off and flash again and buzz again. And then we don't really need this set A high because that's already set at the top here. So when the loop ends, it'll automatically go back and set the red light on. That's a theory anyway. Let's send this to the board. Click the green button and then we'll switch the camera and look at how it works in practice. Okay, so that's been sent to the board and now we're going to have a look at what happens when I press the button. So we've sent the program to the Crumble board. I'm just going to turn my power on. You can see we've got the red light showing on our traffic lights and we're now waiting for the selection for the button to be pressed. Once I press the button, the green light flashes and the buzzer buzzes. So we've tested a simple selection project there where if a button is pressed then lights will flash and buzzers will buzz. You can come up with all sorts of interesting projects using this Crumble kit and selection as part of your Year 5 programming scheme of work.